Which we weren't quite live over there for some reason, which is a bit of annoying. Figured that one out. Thinking, oh, it looks a little bit quiet over on that front. We have resolved that. Put that one to rest. Come into the game proper. Apologies on that one. Does mean we've missed a little bit of that first game there on Onivia. That is unfortunate. Sorry about that, guys. Does look like the feed was being sent, but the live button hadn't been hit, which is an unfortunate one. But now live in 3 places rather than just 2, and the issue has been resolved. Fed and Fury, Fedorora plus Jin. Yeah, it does look to be that way, doesn't it? Death's Dance now completed for Nayo, who's in a very scary position. Again, Nayo, when he was on top esports challenges down in the LPL, alongside the likes of Jachi and Niket, was one of the more dangerous members to be found out there. And we're going to a lot of damage at the back end of this. Moam hooked up, goes down, nowhere for this rel to go. It's a rough time for Moam on what should have been his most famous champion, really. Enjoy a little trip up, Hiromu. Always good to see you. Over we go to the Baron Pit. Knock-up happens. Onto Heng, who does just get deleted in a second or two. Ezreal does the work with the, Nautilus for YCX. Rune Prison. Onto Harry, who's now in danger as well. XQW looking to continue hunting with Sassy. They do get the wallop. The dredge line goes wide, but I don't think this Gnar can really do anything, despite a few skill shots going wide because of how damn strong LGD are at this point. 11-2 is Nefiri. Holy moly. What did I learn today in my German lesson? Starting to learn some accusative case stuff. So when you're talking about objects, so all of those conjugations as Xiaoye flashes over the wall, is out of mana here. Starry flashes on him, will now possibly trade his life for it. The crash down just shy, trying to kill off the Jin, who's running away really fast, does get that reset, looks to go back in, gets the shield with the reset of the Hound Pursuit, but Linfa goes over the wall. Nayo taking a lot of damage, trying to heal with the Darkin Daggers, can't quite do it. Needs to begin running away as YCX in danger himself now. Healing off the Gromp from passively at the back end of it all. They'll lose the Nautilus. Nayo still wants to play this. In comes the Realm Walk. They want to play this 2v3. Moam doesn't quite get the Shattering Strike they were hoping for. There's the call of the pack to get some more healing. And Moam at the level 10 has nothing to work. We will bleed out in a moment. Another kill to Nayo. 2 for 2. Not bad from OMG. The problem is their base is in tatters and their Nexus turret's being hit. And Xiaoye got caught in that between worlds and had a bad time. Is the long and short of it there. And Xiaoye dies. And the Realm Walk comes on through. Nayo's waiting. Throws out a couple daggers, misses them. Doesn't really matter at this point. It's just so strong. Nayo gets some more healing. Hits him with a second Q. More like not bad because we're the draft cliff. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I was learning accusative case stuff. Like, you know, ich packe einen Laptop in meine Tasche. I pack a laptop into my bag. True shot barrage. Flings across a few. By which I just mean Starry. Curious to see how the other drafts go, because top picks look kind of crazy here. Yeah, it's very different. Sassy got run down there, actually. That's potentially quite big. Now, Linfong looking to reset, goes across the veil, finding an angle. Nayo will immune some of it with the call of the pack, but it's a good ult. The Between Worlds doing damage. Nayo now in danger, needs to hop away. Taken very low, burned up because the Death's Dance is enough work to make sure he does die in the long run. And OMG have held on. They can get a lot of value here. In fact, they're going to pretty much ace the squad. Can they get anyone else? Missing the shot. YCX in danger. Gets hit. It's Xiaoye alone that survives. How on earth did OMG find that? Oh, LGD. Well, there you go. That's what happened. Sorry, I had a little bit of admin stuff to do in the background there, which is bad timing, really. There you go. Some things just need to happen. Hang, getting a decent juggle forward. So basically, Nayu's got Death's Dance on, and that means he ticks out. Needed to stick around and keep fighting the healing. SQW does so much work, but misses a Q. Otherwise, that might have been a big amount of spell flux across people. Misses one shot, but it does spot out YCX, who dies. So, I have to go work and to watch the JDG games. Don't we all? Don't we all? Jin now has that Infinity Edge. Linfong has got a Medjai's, a Zhonya's, and a Void Staff. This bunny hits hard. She is basically shy of death cap. And that's it. And even then, I think right now, for the price point she's hit, that's not bad going. QW and the rest of the squad backing away. This OMG trying to get control of this mid lane, if and where they can. Sassy cleaning up some Krugs. Trying to be a little annoying with that. And so far, not really found too much there. This Aurora, though, 9-1-9, is kind of matching Nayo pretty well here in terms of scariness. Problem is, this Neferi is now 4 items deep. GA just got completed. And that is pretty scary. True Shot Barrage. Flings across a few again. Baron, up and available. Sassy and SQW, 2-manning the Baron. They will shred this very fast. The Rise and the Gwen got more than enough damage and DPS to do this in decent order. Heng now coming on over, looking to find an angle in. It's down to 4k HP. He can actually come and smite this. Wind becomes lightning into the attempted steal. Won't quite happen. He got into the pit, but will now likely die. SQW flashing on forwards to try and get some spell fluxes and overloads. You've lost the Nautilus, but Moan flashing away between worlds. Linfo looking for an angle. Can't quite do it, but the curtains are called. No one's able to threaten very well. Now you're looking for an angle. Sends the dogs forward. Hops away. Oh my days, the weirding. Popped 2. Now Hiri in danger. Goes into that untargetable state with the W, but with the Death Dance ticking, we'll need to find something to heal off. Baron secured. You asked 2 for it, and the Ocean Dragon's up. How on earth are we at this point? And I'll tell you what, it's because the Jin's at full build. Because this Aurora's at full build. They hit like trucks. Try and come and play this. Into the pit we go. Harry's very low. Gonna try and take this one out regardless. Into the pit is Nayu. Could look to steal. Would be Ocean Soul if he can get in and secure this. Can't quite find the value he was looking for. The rest of the Dame is still dead. And Sassy's TP leads to nothing. Starry got a GA. Gets the root. On to one more. Wind becomes lightning. Xiaoye will heal. Tries to get away, but he's caught between worlds. Immediately dies. Linfong looking for a twofold hex of his own, but can't quite pick off the dog. And the rest of the team struggling here as the game goes on. OMG suddenly right back in. The Baron absolutely neutralized. We need to have a look at that fight again. Because they get the Baron and then don't kill Heng. And then between Linfong and Starry's ults, LGD unable to break the battle line. So have a look at this because it becomes a flip. 66 HP is what it goes down to. And YCX looks for an angle. They try to flash for the Rune Prison and miss the overload. So Starry just gets to flash away and stay alive. Nayo on an angle, but doesn't find as much as Moen flashes out. And then Linfong with the Between Worlds does a lot of work. It's very scary. XQW goes golden, but Starry's still just waiting for a 4-shot into a weirding combo that gets another. And then you're trying to play for Soul and lose Baron anyway. Or lose most of your Barons. It's a pretty miserable state of affairs. 3 inhibitors were down. And suddenly LGD are in a precarious position. Don't get me wrong, they've still scaled just fine. They may well still win this game. But there will be questions about how this game ended. So, Jin has put traps everywhere. Aurora 12-1. Linfong was on OMG's academy team as an Akali player, as a Yasuo player. Here on the Aurora, trying to live up to some of those assassin roots of his. Minus 902 Baron power play. OLGD. That's a disappointment, isn't it? This is going to be an interesting series, folks. I hope you're ready for some Valley League of Legends, because we are going for it. Please, LGD win. I want to redeem a prize. Monty's, you're in this position. The gold is now more even, so it's getting you clearer. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the gold... At this point of the game, the gold is mostly decorative, right? All of your important people have max builds. Your gold isn't going anywhere near. Most people are max level. The differences will start to be in the fact that Nayo no longer has a level lead, really, because Heng gets to catch up. And supports are also going to start to catch up. You know, the Nautilus, the Rel that were miles and miles behind will suddenly start to get level 15, level 16, and things get different again. Minute till Baron, minute till Ocean Dragon. What are we playing for in either team? Because, of course, with OMG claiming that last dragon, they're also at Soul Point. Ocean Soul to make fights go longer? Oh, God. So, where do we go from here? Do we have a choice? The blue pill of the Baron Pit? The red pill of the Dragon Soul? Let's see how deep this rabbit in mid lane can go with the spells. Don't know why I'm suddenly turning Bane on that one, but there we go. Massive engage. Just show you hop forwards! He's got a GA, but doesn't quite have it. Pop gets by the wind by lightning, goes over the wall, the audacious charge, and actually manages to buffer the True Shot Barrage while dead in the GA. Still knocked him. He's going in! They'll kill off the Aurora, finally! But Shaya is dead for it. Everyone else having a bad time, but Nio is now scary. And turning around with the curtain call. Harry on a flank, trying to keep people pinned in place, trying to find some shots. The Observer observes the death of Nautilus, made the curtain call look a little bit more ugly than it was, and it ends up being a 2-for-1. The stacks are gone on Linfo. And Xiaoye may have paid with the price of his body, but he may have done the work. TPing back in, looking to get some damage. They go on forwards. Moam desperately low, will not quite be killed. Now you're looking for an angle. As Harry here at full HP does have nowhere near the Mega Gnar right now. SQW split off from his team a little bit. Flashing on forwards. 4-shot comes on in. Lands the Rune Prism. XQW's just dead. That's Ocean Soul surely for OMG. Into the back of the pit they go. They want to control wood. They will not know that they're there. Hang, gonna find them now. Looking to step forwards. Gets the knock into the wall. Trying to get damage down onto Sassy. Into the back they go with the Hound's Pursuit. Hang desperately low. Gets the Crescent Guard down. Sassy is dead. Naya will not secure the Dragon, though it was a valiant effort. And OMG claim another life. And Ocean Soul can head to Baron. And might just be winning the game here. 50 seconds on Gwen. 30 on Rice. The wave clear's gone. It's a 5v3. Maybe they don't need to do Baron. Okay, I take it back. They walk down mid lane, decide against to go back to Baron, which is slightly embarrassing. Roll up to the greatest show on earth, folks. That's a 5.5k lead on Nio. He is desperately trying to get something. Buys a full Sterax to try and get value. What more can this Neferi do? So Xiaoye is about to do what is called a pro gamer move here by shifting forwards to get full combo by Arel, and then survives for but a moment before Hang True Shot barrages. Sorry, jumps on the True Shot barraging Ezreal and kills him, and he hops forward again. I guess he knew he was kind of dead, so when he gets some damage down his way out, Nio tries to get some more value, doesn't quite, as Harry survives. And they Realm Warp in. And XQW's like, oh god, I'm now in a shooting gallery. I didn't want to be here. And XQW, YCX gets absolutely popped. That is at, what, 2k damage ult? When I say Valley League of Legends, this is what I mean. It's the opposite of peak League of Legends. However, it is equally entertaining by virtue of its silliness. This is a deeply unserious game, folks. Sit back and enjoy the chaos. The LEC song. Where's Vedi and Dracos? Give me chaos. I'm giving it to you right here. Sassy has gone really deep and will just die. Oh no, the curtains are being called. Please let the curtains call. Please let this be the end of the game. Make it stop. Make it stop. They get another one. They got Baron, right? They do. They've killed another 3 people. I believe you can end the game now, OMG. Inhibitor goes down. Nio trying her best. This 14 kill Neferi has done everything they can. LGD may be the worst team in the league. Might be them or LNG. They have been really suffering. But there's even then moments for this team. This game should have been theirs. It is not. OMG, hold on. They catch the throw. They catch the fail. Here's our drafts. Elise locked in. Is that going to be Elise support? Well. So we've got a Caitlyn Nico bot lane. They've tried to match that by going for another range bully support. The Elise has fallen way off. It used to be super busted. Got changed a lot to make it less good as a support without items and AP. And as a result, Nico kind of took a role a little bit. And honestly, Nico is a much better team fighter because you got a big AoE ult in a way that Elise just doesn't. So this is going to be very interesting. Your tower dive is fantastic. Between Poppy, between Elise, between Ari. Game 1 was an LGD win against their better judgment. LGD going to need to recover after OMG stole that game away from them. Let's have a listen to the Gyros. Moam looking for a potential angle. What has they started with? It is nothing yet. Not leveled anything. You can E-start to be a big CC person. But things like the W, also very valuable. Good scouting tool, good early burst. Pretty heavy on the mana costs. They are looking for this invade. Heng's going to come on down. Vi's going to be here. Now you're level 1 on Vi. I don't know whether you want this. This is going to get messy. They know they're on vision. They're expecting a fight. Here we go. Nio needs to be really careful. The only thing is you're giving Caitlyn and Nico free push. That's very risky. So, Caitlyn and Nico have free push. Should be able to rush level 2. They can then afford to back off. I think you arguably reset off this wave. Because otherwise, this is going to happen. You knew Heng was there. What do you think he was going to do? Shove Xiaoya back. Doesn't get as much value as they were hoping for. Starry picks up the wave, and now Heng's in danger, actually. You know what? I take it back. They don't combo up well enough. Heng takes all his HP. And Nio still gets to go over to his Krugs, and then look at red buff after. Oh, no. Well, that's gone wrong, hasn't it? Still got level 2. There's the Tangle Barbs. Nio, level 2 invade? I don't know about this one, folks. He's going to try and go for the blue buff. Oh, boy. Now, this gets interesting. So, Poppy, what she should do right now is probably Raptors into blue buff from Nio. Maybe the Gromp after. Arguably, she should have just dropped the Raptors. It's not the greatest pathing ever from Nio. I think if you're Poppy, you can go fight. I know you can't really. I mean, Ari's got some shove-ish. Problem is, Ambessa would be first roam on the other side. I think that invade's worked out very poorly for OMG. Sassy. Hit with a full chunk of that decimating smash into the grasp. Right, and they got the Skunk Crab as well. Oh boy, well, this is looking a bit ugly. The CS lead bot lane is going to be problematic. They spent a lot of that first wave fighting over Raptors that led to their jungler in an awful position. And Nio's still getting the steal on in. And now Xiaoya is up a significant amount of gold plus a cull off that early reset. This Caitlyn's going to be a problem. I worry about how that one's going to go. Oh, social media graphic needs to be shown. Thank you very much. We can do that one. Wrong thing. Linfong with the ult. Gonna get shuffled into Nio's Q. I'm gonna try and trade this one back on XQW, but he's still on a 1v2. A lot of CC coming on through. Will not surely die here, but a decent amount of damage back. Can't quite get in range. Getting a lot of those soldiers down. Must get that last buckler. Can't do it. Oh no. XQW gets away with literal murder. And now you with a great angle. Well, that's a great start to the game. But we said similar things about the last one, didn't we? These teams are pretty bad. They are at the minute. They are in the Nirvana group. It's partly why they're here. There's a lot of growing to be done for both teams. I think it's the kind way to put it. LGD fumbled game one very, very hard. Good start again this one. That's a decent cocoon though. YCX in danger. Overcomes and gets the buckler. Tries to get in range to charge. Caitlyn gets one back. Moam's in danger too. Can Shaya look for a flash and an auto? Big Chunk tries to get the Pilt over Peacemaker and makes it a double. Sure, they kill off the Nico, but the all-in didn't touch Xiaoye, and he just got to stand and deliver as they overplay onto YCX. You take that every day of the week. This is Valley League of Legends, folks. Nice chunk onto Linfang. This was a mess. What HP did YCX get? What XQ get to? 5 HP, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12. Oh my days. And top side, YCX gets the heal, gets to run away. And the thing, the Caitlyn trap lands onto Starry, so he dies. And then basically, Xiaoye gets to run after Moam, who's got nowhere to go. I think actually should have just flashed there, is the honest answer. Giving the double over was awful. Now you've got a Caitlyn's come back with boots, dagger, and a BF sword, and still got the cold going away. Rough. Don't get me wrong, Xiaoye still have flash as well, but the moment they stop to go for the Pilt over Peacemaker, I think you can afford to flash and get out. Probably path towards red as well, as you're lining up a shot going to the turret. Probably something like that. Either way, LGD with a very solid early lead. This Caitlyn's 1,000 gold ahead from lane. Still got a lot of time to go pick up some plates. They got the early set of grubs, the early dragon. Alright, bot side, in we go. Nayo finds the public execution combo with Sassy. Ult plus ult equals a dead Corki, who is left 6 feet under. Nice work from the jungler. Nayo honestly had a great game one. That Neferi is going to feel like it should have been a win. Here on the Vi, off to the races, being proactive and aggressive early on. He's making things work here. It's hit, cocooned as YCX, but at least doesn't care to do all that much damage right now. Go a load of those soldiers out and about. Ninfong looking for an angle, can't quite get what they're hoping for. Now you're now close. Second set of grubs spawning. XQW does have TP, maybe asked to burn it in short order, but is not here on the rift right now. Play this a little bit slower and wait for the Azir to come on in. Here comes the rest of OMG wanting to play this out. So now you still want to fight this. TP into the mid lane turret for XQW. Again, not here. Smite not up for Hang. Now you could potentially look to go forward. Xiaoyu gets knocked up by the Scion. Flash on forwards, can't quite get the combo. At least up into the air, knock away on the jungler from the Poppy of Hang. Still the fight commencing. They've picked up 2 of the 3 grubs. Public execution onto the Scion. Gonna get knocked up by that Pop Blossom after. Shield comes on through with the Soul Furnace and will just die. Kill over to XQW's Azir. Sassy will Drake hand step with a lacerate and a cutting swipe. Get out to safety. Naya now looking at Linfong. Slow comes on through into the Vault Breaker. Relentless forward. The denting blows causing a lot of damage. There's nowhere really for Linfong to go. Trying to try and denote this kill over to the Azir. And a nice pick up there. As SQW, forced back at the beginning of the play, does get to pick up a 3rd kill in the game. There's still 1 grub remaining, so this will get mites, but nothing more. And he gets that one for the side of LGD. Three streams on a Twitch in a row from Baneblade. Who the hell is this? Hell yeah. No, we won a 2-game series. I don't think LGD loses these. They shouldn't. This should be a done deal now. But we shall see. Moa in a spot of bother. There comes the Blooming Burst. Sion gonna ult, looking to go on in, and hang on, that's a big kill. Onto that Caitlyn, down for the count. No need for the Sion ult, but they do pick off the Caitlyn before the dragon can begin, and OMG will take that as a big win here. Could have been really significant throw. How on earth does Xiaoyu get caught there? Tragic moment. Corki picking it up as well. Basically halves the gold lead between the 80 carries. Damage comes back on forwards, and YCX gets away. Now you also have to flash out. Bad invade there. Good punish from OMG, but that's double flashes down. Harry now in a potential spot to bother himself going towards turret, but he's a Scion. Doesn't care all that much. XQW with the Leandries trying to threaten for this tier 1 top. Let's have a look at this. So this is how we saw Xiaoyu die earlier. I'm assuming he's just Heng all inning, and a flash stun into the wall. Into the combo. Cocoon lands. Goodbye, Caitlyn. And great work from Heng to get that angle on Xiaoyu. He was trying to stay safe, but wasn't respecting the flash heroic charge. YCX. Under threat, but not that much. 3 minutes until the next dragon. Harry doesn't really take meaningful damage at this point. YCX will heal to run away. Ult for the heal. First turret was claimed by LGD, so that does get them the feats of strength. They are still up, 4,000 gold. It's just been 1 or 2 slight issues here. And there. And everywhere. Yep. That too. Xiaoye gonna throw out some combos. And Xiaoye now looking to get some orders down on this mid lane tier 1. XQW also threatening. Moab just gets annihilated by the Azir at this point. That's a level 6 Elise who is behind the game curve. YCX is level 8 for reference. That is a 6 level difference. 6 level difference between mid and support. Oh, wow. Go get some sleep, Trinity. Thanks for your hard work as ever. What the hell? LGD lost map 1 with that monster draft? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. There's a turret down. Turn around. Fight comes on through and Poppy just dies. Oh boy, Linfong's in danger. They're teleporting from area. I don't think he's going to enjoy that very much. Nayo just about alive. They get into the Herald. It dies as a result of the decimating smash. Moam is once again dead. And the game's looking pretty tricky. For the side of OMG, we may well be going to 3 here, folks. LGD, once known as Laugandia. The great chili oil company. YCX with the shape changer into the ult is buffered somewhat by Harry. Probably he dies for doing it. And Moam goes up into the air and comes right back down to get annihilated. My word at the moment, that one. It's a good word. Annihilated. To be reduced to less than atoms. To be returned to net zero. Why am I sounding like Megamind? Ow, my giant blue head. We're so blessed to get a 3 LGD OMG games today. Exactly, you get it. Epimiondas? Epimiondas? There you go. And Curly's like, lol. The correct response. I don't want to see JDG anyway. I do. I want to see JDG. Violence continues. Linfeng off to one side. A knock away. Hang. Flashes to get onto Xiaoye, stays alive. The Pop Blossom is good, actually, from YCX. Backside, Sassy gets a couple as well. Nice ambassador angle. The ace in the hole comes on down. Linfeng trying to ult away, but the cease and desist onto Starry means he is turning into a supernova. Exploded by Xiaoye and the rest of the crew. Harry and Linfeng alive. I take that back, it's a zombie. He's not alive, is he? He's only unalive for a second or two. That's fine for TikTok. And over we go to look at a Cloud Dragon and possibly a turret or 2 in this top side. What a mess. Let's have a look. So there's no turret. Why are we fighting up here? And, why are we all here? There's no turrets. I mean, I guess there's Atacard in a minute or so, but that's... I guess violence was why. Like, why are we here as 5 people, guys? Either way, it's good for LGD. It's a triple kill onto Sassy. And this Ambassador is really, really, really strong. LGD 68-ish% chance to win the game. I should never have gambled in one trusted OMG to give us a 2-game series. Sorry, Mecha. Dragon secured. Fight now commences, but it's YCX's clone that was hit. Xiaoye will still have the ability to 90 caliber net over the wall if they need to. Sassy now looking for an angle. Going to start lacerating forwards. Hang in danger. Tries to keep that ambassador away and can't do it. The heroic charge means nothing. Starry tries to get one with him, but fails to do so. The rest of the team die. Another triple kill to Sassy. 2 fights in a row. There's a wave prepped in the bot side. That turret will not be long for the living, you have to imagine. Are we thinking Atakan after? Are we thinking mid lane? One of the two. This game is looking all but over. Sassy alone is such a monster right now. Never mind XQW. Never mind Xiaoya, actually cashed in that call a little while ago. Nayo also going to help take this ruinous Atakan alongside his mid lane on XQW and get a lot of value down. There we go. Gonna try and pick up some of these feathers. Hang, I don't think we're gonna take all that many flowers. We'll get one. They get a single flower, guys. That's the consolation prize. Azir has Leandries, Nashes, fully stacked Dark Seal, and now the Chain-Laced Crushes as well. Like, how on earth are you killing this guy? Does so much damage. Can't be miles of a third item on this Caitlyn, who I think is going rapid fire next. Help us stay safe from some of the people trying to pounce on her head. It's always been a good item on Caitlyn. Works very well with the headshot. Hang in danger. Gets jumped. Sorry, not Hang in danger. It's Nayo in danger. Now turns it around as overcomes his top laner, trying to keep him alive. Fails to do so. Starry now getting out to safety. Moam also with a repel. Gets out to safety. LITX looking for an angle. Doesn't have flash, but can still look to pop Blossom. Sassy gets charged into the wall. The decimating smash alongside the charm means that Mbessa, even with all the Omnivap, will fall. LGD once again overplayed, trying to save a member. Hang in danger though, will surely burn out. YCX gets another, and OMG got two, but can't keep everyone else alive as Harry stepping on forwards is still a zombie and will die. You killed off Nayo. You killed off Sassy. Great news. Still lose 2-2. But hell, an even trade in this game state is better than it should be. Starry just about alive. He's on vision here. Is there an ace in the hole? Not quite. I might have been tempted. I'm not going to lie. 5 seconds would have been tricky. Because it initially looks like Starry and Moam are going to die to do this. So it's a good punish. Nayo tries to buffer his way out. The public excuse comes on in. But the rest of the team are very slow to come on over. And Starry just about survives. Moam goes to the air and survives. And that stops it from being as clean as it might be. And then Sassy steps on forwards. And then gets immediately heroic charged into charm, the decimating smash, and gets popped. And that's pretty big because the Ambassador is a lot of damage. However, the retreat angle isn't fantastic. And now Heng has what happened to Nayo happened to him. Except there is no punish. And so Poppy just sits there and dies. Back over towards the turret we go. And they'll place a Sun Disc in. And look to siege on in. Here's the replay in the picture-in-picture. I'm assuming it's just, yep, walk into a bush, found him out. Xiaoya just says, yeah, you've walked on a trap. Enjoy your payment. In pain. So, 11,000 gold up. This game should end shortly. Baron and the game over. And then we get a joyous deciding game 3. It should have been game over anyway, series over anyway, because LGD should have won the last game. And they didn't. There we go, damage onto Starry. Nayo's gone very deep to do it though, and now is actually very alone here. And the rest of the team's not going to come and defend him. Gets a decent blast shield, trying to buy some time. The Sundered Sky healing not enough, but they've chased for a very long time to get on top of that. They also lose Corki though. Azir gets killed off by Linfong, but the problem is Sassy's head has run over people. That'll be a dead Poppy. Again, it's not clean, but the damage is done. They get aced. Nayo buys enough time for the rest of his team to finish off what he started by diving under the turret. The flash barrier was enough to make Starry go a long, long way and separate Nayo out somewhat. But that will still be, you've got to imagine, the end of the game, right? Between Atakan buffing up full grub, please just run up the Nexus towers. No, don't leave. Just finish it. Take us out of this misery. Damage comes on down. Basically, Nio goes very deep to try and make that happen, to deny Starry doing a lot of DPS. The problem is the rest of his team can't really follow up. At which point, he is there to try and buy as much time as he can and execute W. How does he do? He flashes for an auto? And then I'm assuming he just gets charmed. Oh, hang. Charges the Azir out of the charm. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. So, inhibitor down. Baron secured. Linfeng looking for a charm, but a cleanse flash away keeps Xiaoye alive. And they can keep playing. Hun gets a charge into the wall. That's pretty significant. XQW gets to go gold. Linfeng also goes gold. But the Pop Blossom timing is excellent from YCX. Heng gets out of the base gate. Will stay alive for now, but it's a triple kill already to Xiaoye, who will continue hunting for some more. They've lost 3. Their jungle and top lane has survived, but that is none of the wave cleared. Not into Baron. Of course, it was the zombie, so even he doesn't die. That's 3 times I've been called out by that this game. Golden goes YCX. Nexus falls. And we're going to game 3. Proper think about these comps before we say anything, but while we're doing that, let me up the volume. See if we've got any Gyos for the day. Looks like we've got a quiet crowd today. So, yes, there is good kite. Between Onivia, the Lilia, Tristana jump, Alistair, lots of move speed, fair amount of repositioning ability. Xiaoye is going to have an interesting time on the Misfortune. I'll say that. Going to be up to a number of people to make sure that happens. And of course, you've got the lilting bullet time combo. Or the bullet lullaby. Actually, I take it back. Bullet lullaby is the combo, is what we're going to call it. Because bullet time does not break sleep. So if you're caught in a lilting lullaby, Misfortune can get a full channel ult, and it is rough. And that combo's nice. You've got decent frontline there with the Udyr. But it engages Alistair and a Swell Seed, really. For OMG, yes, you're low range on the whole, Varus notwithstanding. However, your target access is pretty good. Chains of Corruption, Nature's Grasp, Rakan, whole kit with people to jump to make your job of getting in easier. Rakan, Slice and Dice, Flash, Teleport, Flank Angles. You will be able to get in, but you are going to have to commit your bodies to it. Now, if you throw that combo, and it doesn't work, things get tricky. You do have knockups in the form of, obviously, Yasuo brings his own with a Q3. But the Rakan and the Q, for the Rakan knockup on Grand Entrance, and the Bramble Smash will count as knockup as well for Yasuo. So you have got some knockups to work with. Not the biggest AoE ones. Your biggest option is your Grand Entrance. However, if you can lock XQW, if you can lock Xiaoye, if you can lock Nayo into a last breath and pop them, life is good. Because you will theoretically have a lot of ability to have some very nasty side lanes with the Yasuo and the Renekton. Though I feel like Yasuo tends to not have a great time into Udyr. Actually worth noting. Because there's nothing really you get to Wind Wall. Linfong. Trading out well. The second rocket jump for more damage, though, makes things a bit trickier. I think he just missed a Q there. No, he's autoing. Apologies. There's Q3. I think to slide on through. Decides against it. Gives XQW a moment to step on forward. That's what you often do with the Yasuo, is hold your Q3 as, hang on, level 4's been hit. Swell Seed goes wide. Linfong gets his flow passive. There's no Swell Seed available. Throws a Steel Tempest out. And Wind Walls the Swell Seed. Udyr isn't even really winning early. Yeah. Should be able to get shoved there, I would imagine. Yes, Renekton can trade well because he's quite good into melee matchups in the sense you can go forwards. Holding the wave here slightly. Waiting for Misfortune to come and pick it up. They're dropping a wave for this. And here is Xiaoye. With Harry forced to stick around and try and get this wave in. Won't. And so we'll get to reset for that call and look to clear this up. Gets the Misfortune out of the poke Varus lane as well. Yes, Misfortune normally a very strong laner, but does get outranged by Varus, and as a result, you can, if you don't get good double up angles, end up eating more damage than one would like. Grub spawning in a minute and a half, Dragon in 30 seconds, Sassy's TP bot side, Harry is there, TP's to the minion to prevent too much of a shove from Sassy. And Starry will throw down a Hail of Varus and get a Comet proc onto the Alistar. Alright, Xiaoye flashing on forwards. Wow, they really wanted that. Flash from Starry. Also traded. Not too much more to be seen there. 2 LDL AD carries on the call-up. Last year, of course, now proper LPL AD carries, really. They've had at least half a split, half a year or so of LPL level experience. Of course, not really delivered in the way I think they might have liked. Certainly not been, say, a Jackie Love debut. Or even a Huanfeng debut. Linfong looks to get a decent chunk. Throws out the Wind Wall. And there's an explosive penguin on his head. That's kind of crazy. Didn't realize penguins were explosive. I thought they were just standard flightless birds. With some ability to swim. Now you're looking to go through mid lane. Nayo sounds a lot like Chi-Chi. That's kind of wild. Linfong looking for an angle. Gets the double knock up into the ult. Self does it. In comes the Buster Shot. Trying to trade this one back around. Overcomes Alistar as well. Has to flash away. Flashing now on forwards. Gets another Q3 knock up. Can't quite get the damage. As Hung just didn't find a way in. Despite Linfong doing all his own stunts, the follow-up is just not there. YCX on a solid roam meant there was going to have to be a flash. I need to see what Hang did in that one again. Because I feel like he just didn't get value. Good bust shot from XQW. Makes that one look a bit silly for Linfong in the end, despite the flashiness of it. Double knock-up into the double ult. Problem is the HP bars were very low. Still going to leave to OMG being in position to take the grubs. Penguins sure aren't explosive in the NHL this year. I've not been following the Hockey League. What's going on there? Yasuo, cool combos, dies. There is some truth to that. Trista gonna be terrifying this game. Late game, yeah. There's a lot of ability to do for her to do her own stunts. Because basically LGD, if the combo from OMG leads to nothing, and they have got a very nasty combo with a lot of target access on it between Maokai and Rakan and Varus, and then the follow-up from the likes of the Yasuo. Scary. But you need this Yasuo to be genuinely scary, and you need the mid-game to be good, because otherwise you are still into a Lilia, into a double AD carry. It's a lot of more consistent damage later on, with a lot more range. And this Tristana having a pretty okay time of it right now. Down a bit of CS. Has had to drop some because of the aggression from Linfeng, but here we are. Season's wrapping up, and they've been eliminated before the salary floor. Ooh, Columbus Blue Jackets. Oh, no. Good to see you again, Gab, by the way. And somehow, despite all the shenanigans, gold is still all but even. Save me. Yeah, I think LGD going to scale. I worry a little about this Udyr. Especially because it hasn't really got any value, but the rest of the team should be fine. And yeah, I agreed. Lilia Tristana is pretty scary. I think as long as XQW is really judicious with their rocket jumps, very hard to secure the 100 to 0 this game. Chains of Corruption, Grand Entrance, no follow-up, but the Piercing Arrow is still good. YCX alive, does get hit by the Nature's Grasp after his hair. He is taken very low. And everyone else just about alive. Where the hell is Linfeng? He's trading with the Tristana top side. It means you've got no Yasuo here, no Tristana. YCX backing away. Harry clearly took an ugly trade, I think, from Nio burning the Lilting Lullaby. XQW's also burned his own ultimate, having to bust a shot someone, I'm imagining Linfeng, from an all-in. Both of our solo laners there have their Tristana. Sorry, Tristana teleport. Yeah, I think he needs to be really careful as the arrow comes on through. I've got to say, that looked a bit scary. The blight stacks were on. And Xiaoyu could swiftly have been turned off. Panic at the lullaby, possibly. Linfeng looking for an all-in. Won't press R on that one, but the rocket jump is now down. And Heng is here. XQW needs to be wary. No Buster Shot. Has flash. Q3 goes wild. There's the last breath. And Tristana is eviscerated. Kill picked up by Heng. Linfeng steps on forward. Clears out the wave. Unfortunately, because he dragged the bomb back to his own minions, the wave dies slightly, but it's kind of okay. Continuing to Beyblade there. Beyblade. Can you only stream Abe LPL? As it stands, that's the only one we have rights to. But we are streaming it pretty much every day. I can also do LDL and Amir Masters. Also, something else. Let it rip, says Spirit Maker. Get knocked down, eat ground to get back up again. Basically, that's just Yasuo. But there we go. But yeah, we can't. What's something else? Oh, the ASCI Masters. Asian Star Challenge Invitationals. OMG got this one, you believe? Okay. Alright. Heng throwing down the R. In comes OMG. Linfeng on the side. Has ult in 3 seconds. Can look for an angle. Doesn't have a knock-up as yet. Looking for it now. Where's the knock-up? There it is! Onto the backside. Xiaoyu is deleted by the last breath. That's the combo they're looking for. Linfeng gets to look for more. Flash to secure it with the Beyblade. Gets on forwards. There goes a flash on forward for Nayo. KOs off one more. Lilting Lullaby. Onto 4. Wonderful stuff from the jungler. But Sassy's still alive. Linfong looking to try back out SQW. Gets another hop because he got the kill with the bomb. Another knockup. Stale Tempest comes on through shield from that turtle stamp. But Linfong still trading. Not enough. Sassy burns him low. Wingborne Storm is there despite the combo. XQW survives. And Nayo's glorious 4-man sleep sends them all into the land of Nod and an early grave. That was a wicked fight. It was messy, but that was cool. Nayo, holy moly, this ult is wicked. So it starts off with a bit of a start off on the play. Linfong has his flow blown by XQW, but there's a bit of a fight for the Chains of Corruption lands, and it's looking pretty ugly, because the knocker comes on through Nishaya, who dies, doesn't have a great opportunity to get any damage down. You're thinking, okay, this play looks really nasty, especially after Linfong picks up YCX with the Q flash to get the spin. Then, Nayo, flash, 4-man, lilting Lullaby, absolutely turns the play. Starry can't run far enough away from XQW, who gets a rocket jump into the kill to get the reset and hop away. That means he survives. It means Sassy gets to be an absolute menace. These shields are huge, huge, huge. The Iron Mantle is so annoying for Lunfong to deal with at this point. Gets so many shields, so many Wingborne Storms, and XQW just gets to auto. That is an insane Lilia fight. It was close. Game remains close. However, how big LCK Challenger League? I don't think so. So basically, we have to go through. I'm not sure whether it's Kesper or LCK Korea, possibly both, to get rights to that, and they're quite difficult to get a hold of unless you're on their books. I mean, I'd be potentially down to do it at some point. It's just finding the time. But with LPL basically being every day, there's not that much space in the calendar. I'd love to do something. Lilting Lullaby's down. Linfong's in a 1v3. And I don't think he's got anywhere really to go. Nope. He's looking at Grave for a minute or two. Nice angle. Do OMG get anything elsewhere? No, they don't. Not fantastic. Not fantastic at all. They're learning how to kill Udyr. Yeah, I mean, he's got a Thornmail early into Poke Varus, Renekton, and Yasuo. Like, they're basically full AD with the exception of Maokai, right? Like, don't get me wrong, reminder, Yasuo's ult gives you armor penetration if you hit it. That helps. However, you are nowhere near true armor pen right now. It's the reason Yasuo never builds armor pen, for the record. You gotta play the Rune King, and that'll help. But you don't really see a Lord Doms on a Yasuo very often. Maybe later on. So basically, Yasuo's critical strikes ignore 60% armor, is how that works. So you can still do quite a lot of work, but you need to land the ult. And you need to have some crit. Neither of which Yasuo really has right now. Dragon picked up by LGD. 4 grubs over to OMG, so there is that. No one's got feat of strength yet. OMG have the feat of martial mastery prick. Is Yasuo a good pick here? First time seeing him in pro play. It's not awful with the composition. I think into this draft it's not necessarily easy. It is, however, worth noting that Linfong is a big Yasuo player. It's a specialty pick of his. And in 1v1s against the Tristana, against the Misfortune, you can still threaten. Alright, gets a big ult. Looks to keep trading. A lot of this time you're just looking to ult for trade. And in the side lane, you'll hit a point where no one really matches the Yasuo in a 1v1. So, yeah, it's not awful. It is, however, quite a high execution barrier. And you hit this point, much like with Diana Yasuo combos, where if the ult doesn't lead to a lot, life feels really bad. Harry about to get potentially jumped on there. How is Sassy down 20 CS for an actor? That's kind of sad. Anyway, gonna herald into mid lane. Starry looking to threaten Xiaoye. He's got Chains of Corruption, Swell Seed. Lands onto Moam. Won't get Lilting Lullaby. No easy more Yasuo than Yone. Yeah, Yone's a lot less comp dependent. In pro play, you really need to have a wombo combo on the whole. You sometimes see him top lane. Alice Genax into things like Gnar, because like your wind wall breaks the boomerang, but then it's just very much a counter pick thing. And you are still a very good individual lane in terms of like your ability to play out long side lanes is pretty scary at 1-2 items. However, there's just a lot of easier picks to play, and there's a lot less comp dependent. That said, Linfeng is a Yasuo specialist. We'll see whether he can make it work. I think at this point, being 2k down kind of sucks. But hey, sometimes that happens. I wonder whether he's going to look at something like a Serpent's Fang this game. Thornmail anti-healing, getting very obnoxious. And Nayo's kind of got a cracked comp here. It's what? 4 melees for Lilia? Always feels good. ICX gets jumped on. Linfeng going to slide away. Sweeping Blade into the ult, onto the backline. Nice combo. Looking to try and blow someone up. In comes the Nature Scratch, trying to get a kill down onto Xiaoye. Can't quite do it. YCX also desperately low. Pick that one up. Renekton gets it with the Cull the Meek. Harry stepping on forward with that Dominus running. Linfeng alive. And they back away. Looking to go on forwards now. Sassy, Wingborn Storm. Try to knock up Xiaoye. Does so. Forced to flash away as he was looking for that bullet time. And the backside goes Harry, looking for that ruthless predator to blow up XQW. They've killed off the Tristana. Xiaoye now in danger. The knocker comes on through again. Harry with a big heal. No, I'm trying to get away. Now you're looking for that kill. Lands another blooming blow. It's a triple kill to this Lilia, who is doing wonderful work. Gets a quadra. Oh my god, it's just a straight penta. I told you it was a good Lilia angle. They did all the hard work. They get XQW. They blow Xiaoye's flash, prevent the bullet time. But Lilia into 4 melees when she's untouched, when there's enough CC consistently from Sassy at this point of the game, is a menace. Nayo is a carry jungler. We've seen the Neferi. Seeing the Lilia now, and this is just excellent. Because Linfeng actually places out pretty astutely. Gets a lot of damage done, self-sets up with the last breath. But Nayo gets out despite being tagged with the ultimate. But he's still not dead. Try to get the Alistair combo. He dies on the flash looking for the pulverize. And then, OMG think we can play this, right? They burned a lot to make this happen. And they look to try and trade this. The bullet time is interrupted by Moam going in. Has to flash away. Watch Linfeng. They've got some plays in the mid lane. They're getting kills. They're getting the turret. That's good news. The Lilting Lullaby is once again solid. But Nayo has been healing up with that passive. Gets another big blooming blows. Harry's now in danger. Moam's got nowhere to go. Starry caught by Sassy. This is a poke Varus trying to kill off the Lily because he can't touch this Udin. They'll get the dragon as well. And I think LGD at this point, surely you win, right? 80% win chance from here. Oh my god. This Lilia is 3k ahead individually. She's gone for the early Zhonya's, which is correct into this kind of comp. Makes it a lot harder for you to get popped by the Renekton, by the Yasuo, even by this Varus. Allows you to play out some of these extended plays the way you want to, allow you some chance to get some of your burn damage to come on through. Not going to go for the Magi, just going to try and get that Rift Maker in for the healing, I think. Possibly more value than just the stacks, but hey, I'm a book fan, what can I say? He's seeing some good hands from Linfeng, right? Some good combos. The rest of the team isn't having as fun a time. And this poke Varus into a lot of armor builders feels really miserable. Just not doing any damage. Like, I genuinely think this Varus is not going to do anything meaningful to anyone from this point, really. Maybe the Chains of Corruption onto Naya, but still can go golden. It's pretty damn tanky, and you've thrown it all out to get not that much. The bullet time, not fantastic. Y6 just has to burn out. Linfeng going to potentially get slowed down. Doesn't get that much value. Sassy flashing on forward. The Windwall Storm on. Can look to charge on forward. We'll have an Iron Mantle and that Blazing Stampede to buy some time. Linfeng into the backside dies. The ult looked fun, but it's not enough to keep anyone down. XQW, Rocket jumps forwards and gets another kill. Jungler down. Atakan's alive. You know exactly where LGD are heading. And the wind will block the Lilia. Ah, I wondered where that came from. Still, it ain't enough to stop the fight going in the way of LGD. Starry gets a mid-tier 1. That is the consolation prize, but Ruinous Atakan plus a tier 1 top, plus the fight, plus all these blood petals. Oh boy. There goes another level pretty much for LGD. Let's have a look at the replay. So YCX initially called out. They land the Chains of Corruption onto Nio. And they go, okay, we can punish this. But they don't quite have that much damage. Like, look how little Starry does into this Zhonya's. He's 2 levels down as well. This poke barrage just doesn't hurt. And Linfeng's going to find an angle in a moment or two. Get the decent knock-up on Assassi, who's just going to Blazing Stampede away. They can't hurt him. And he finds a 3-man knock-up. But the last breath just isn't enough and still gets popped. He's just not that tanky. He's just not yet. Hang dies. Nowhere to go. And I get that you're saying, look, so much of my team is diving that we want to try and play for this burst kind of build between the Yasuo and the Varus. But again, at this point, the poke Varus is so little. There's the Medjai's completed by Nayo. Zhonya's, Liandry's, Medjai's, and an additional Haunting, guys. I mean, oh my days. You get a Ocean Soul on top of this, on an Udyr, on a Bloodthirster Misfortune, on the resetting Tristana, on this Lilia with all the heals as well that she's going to have. This is going to be tough. Long fights were already looking bad for OMG. I think they got untenable after that. Minute until that dragon. Okay, YCX gets interrupted. Mom looking for an engage. They find the Chains of Corruption to the last breath onto XQW, who dies. Big moment. Member dead. Can they get anything more here? Baron's up. Can they turn 2? That I just don't think so with the health bars. Big blow to do it. Flash on Moam. 40 seconds on SQW. The problem is he'll have teleport in 10 seconds before that Ocean Soul. Cooldowns, at least at this point in the game, aren't crazy long. Atakan, Ocean Soul, and a kiting Udyr and Lilia. Yeah, that's a worry. Yeah, that is my worry. I'm glad you're on board with that one. YCX burnt ult there. Okay. Did he? Oh no. Oops. Still, last breath will be back up again. Very low cooldown this late into the game. Full Linfeng, not even at level 16 yet, where it gets even lower again. Not quite at an infinity edge, but I understand why he's going towards the damage. Really needs it this game. This has to be a fight for OMG. You can't give this up. It would be disastrous on a nearly unwinnable level. Tristana TP'd him. Looking to play this one out. Sassy zoning off on one side. Moan looking for that angle. There'll be Set up in the river. Moan looking for a good angle in. Doesn't have flash. Does have quickness in 5 seconds. Looking for the engage. 3-man knockup for the side of LGD. Dragon secured by Heng. It's a big moment. Bullet times on Fantasy SQW in the pit. Gets taken out by the arrow. Sassy's in danger. Shoots damage back as they manage to pick up some. Lily is still trying to play this one out by Nayo, but goes golden for a second or two. Linfong with the shields. Flash away from Nayo. Shayo trying to stay alive. Misses the swell seed. HP bar's desperately low on both sides. Nayo can look to blooming blows people down. They don't know where people are in the tri-brush. Moam doesn't find the grand entrance. The double up, comes on. And they'll be going double time some more. The swell seed lands onto Linfong. He's burning out, tries to get a heal, misses the Q3. And that'll be a blooming blows that brings him down. Nayo in these extended plays is a kingmaker. 8-1 and 8, 18 stacks on the Medjais. This deer is looking pretty damn terrifying. None of you believe me. None, says Amber. Oh, there you go. People not voted for it. The fools. Let's have a look at it, because it was looking almost pretty good for a second or two here from OMG. They steal the dragon. They get an initial kill. They're going to pop XQW as well, so the Tristana dies. Flash on over from Starry to secure that with a piercing arrow. Sassy falls after 5v3. This is great. And Xiaoya flashes that Q. Gets that kill. And Nayo survives, is not knocked up by Moam, who shorts the grand entrance. And then they split. Moam misses another grand entrance. And Xiaoya and Nayo are just so scary when they get to run at you like that. The move speed from a strut. Everything Lilia has going with the Q stacks, with Medjais. Towards Baron we go. Oh, LGD, you had a bad last fight. Realistically, 5 for 3 is not what? 4 for 3, not fantastic in the grand scheme of things. Baron should be theirs. No real way to come and contest it without a flash. Heng being kept out of the pit. Baron now secure. What about the fight after? The Chains of Corruption. Jumped away from by XQW. Moam to the backside is delaying some of that reset. It's a good bullet time angle. We'll get a lot of damage down. Nayo just some damage into the backside. Go Linfong and OMG. They do get a couple back, but the rest of the fight's still tricky. The individual burst is all right. But the extended plays, the misfortune, the Lily is still terrifying. Linfong survives, the rest of the team does not. This Yasuo is trying. And you do finally bring down the deer. She loses some stacks, but she's still above 10. And you still lost 4 members. For Baron. That is rough. The shutdown will have come on through, and Yasuo getting back would get him an Infinity Edge. He wasn't able to reset normally. So I had to walk back to base. This will be a buy on the Infinity Edge, you imagine, the moment he touches Fountain. There it is. Inhibitor down, though. Double 80 carries. Now onto the second inhibitor turret. Ult available for Linfong. They won't be able to stick around for that inhibitor itself. Here's the Baron play. YCX goes in, headbutts people to prevent any easy interest, and that Chains of Corruption lands onto Nayo. Means the knockup comes on through, into the last breath. Nayo goes golden, but isn't doing all that much for the first time in a long time. Linfong just about survives the bullet time. And Harry goes on in, finally brings down the Lillian. I apologize, it was him who picked up the Lillian kill, not the side of Linfong. But the rest of the play still isn't enough. And SQW hopping away from the Chains of Corruption. He wants to do as much damage as he might want to do, but did survive. It's a good Chains of Corruption. The problem is, even if you kill the Lily, you've still got to deal with these double-fed AD carries. Bullet time comes on through, is interrupted. Linfong will try and blow him up. Does so. Does a lot of damage. Now YCX in danger. About to fall as well. LGD going to give up multiple members. Lilting Lullaby comes on down. YCX still likely to fall. Here comes the rest of the squad, though. LGD looking to defend. Linfong gets popped by an O-crit from Tristana. Buster shot away from Harry. Hum trying to buy some time. Rocket jumping away. Moam can't find the knockup. As Nayo, untouched, will get you a blooming blow and watch out. Epa's way through a team fight. How many more swell seas does he have? Lands another. The burn comes on through. GA is popped by Harry as he's going to surely die. Flash away from Hang with the phase rush running. Nayo alone against 3 and Starry gets another. They fail the tower dive and LGD lose everyone, but XQW teleported away to get another inhibitor. So they still end up getting some structural damage, but the Baron is thwarted somewhat by OMG. The Infinity Edge is in for the Yasuo and suddenly he does damage. I'm tired, says Mecha Fanboy. Yes, Mecha. Yes, we are. Going towards a Warden's Mail last. That'll be a Randuin, you imagine. So let's have a look at this one. I'm assuming Xiaoye turns around and tries to bullet time in the face of Starry. Nearly one-shot him, in fairness, but died to do so. The ICX now left at no HP, and the Nature's Grasp means that XUW and Sassy kind of dither about joining this fight or not. Limpfin gets another. And we head on over to the Dragon. This would be Soul for LGD. Harry, really, really low. Bullet time. Hurts a lot. Root comes on through, but it's not an interrupt on Xiaoye, who will cleanse. And over towards the Dragon we go, as Heng is not there. And they kind of had to leave with no HP, but neither is Niall for that matter. Farrah's not going to try and steal with the Q. So this will be Ocean Soul. Which you already said would be problematic for OMG. That's a Khan Ocean Soul as well. That's some serious buffing. So, we go back to the scene of the crime. 3 items for this Yasuo. Has gone towards a Mortal Reminder. 4.5 for Starry, who is now at 8 and 4. His Poke Farris now legitimately can deal with people. Knock up. Linfong follows the rocket jump, trying to get the kill. Swirl Seed is, Lilting otherwise blocked by the Wind Wall. They kill off the Yasuo, though, who couldn't finish the job. Starry can't survive either. And Yasuo tried to pull a miracle play out. And it's just not enough. The heroics, the Herculean effort isn't there. This deer at 11, 3, and 13 pentakill early into the game will ensure that LGD close out the series 3-0. Let's be real, that first game should have been theirs as well. Ari is a boy. Continuing to troll Alex. That negative CC topside coming out from WE. They've got the Nautilus and the Jhin for setup. Equalizer and Needlework for extensive slows. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of damage. A lot of damage. But not a huge amount of setup. JDG, between the Vide, the Ari, the Alistair, Cannon to an extent as well, got a lot more pick, and then the follow-up wombo is good. The team fight from JDG is brutal. I need to not too focused on bets, which don't mention betting stuff in general, if that's possible, in the Twitch chat. Don't worry about it. Again, you can ask questions about the game. Don't worry about that. Let the gyro speak before I keep chatting, eh? Let me up the volume while we're at it. But yeah, it's not anything personal, glitchy. Don't stress. Feel free to come hang out and feel free to ask questions. We really have no issue with that. Happy to teach people the game and what's going on. Lock in cube. Hell yeah, he's in a potentially good position. But we'll see. Got the Rumble and the Gwen, the two premier AP alleged top laners, but Monkey is a Graves player, I remind people. At his best, also a pretty good Wukong player. Likes his scaling, farming carries. Been getting pretty solid Lilia. Had a great Skarner game against Arn on EDG to really get them all the way up here to the Ascension group. But for my money, Gwen in the jungle is pretty Graves-like. Low CC, big ticket ultimate, farms very fast. Even got that E auto cancel on the dash. Passive stacking as well. So if you want a kind of equivalent, something like Graves jungle. Of course, your W plays very differently. More defensive, slightly less offensive. That's often been my line when it comes to Gwen jungle. Well, we'll want to try and mess with Shun as much as you can, out-farm it. Abuse that Ghost and the Needlework to really run at people and bring them down. Especially if they overdive with this Ari, your ability to turn around can be pretty rough. Against the Ghost, against the Needlework, Ari can sometimes struggle, even with the ult, to get enough distance unless there's walls in the way. Let's go, my boy Pays. He's going to try. On his Misfortune. Played a fair amount of it on his standard choice of the Broken Covenant Prestige skin. With the most immaculate flares in game. Monkey. Gonna do Wolves Gromp and then Blue to try and keep that buff up as long as possible. On a good clip here to clear. Gwen is a fast clearer. When she's given the opportunity. Outside the Jhin and the Nautilus, out shoving the Alistar. Can sometimes be the way because Alistar at level 1 has very little agency. Scout, gonna spot out Monkey. Wall put down by Monkey as Scout. In danger himself, eats a Foss Bomb. So both mid laners end up trading fairly heavily there. Still the additional pop for Scout is Shun now looking at a potential angle here. Shun already cleared up that Scuttle Crab. Actually, he's left the Scuttle Crab alone, I apologise. Skipped starting out to see whether there was an angle in mid lane. Wasn't really, so decides against it. On paper, there should be a pretty clean JDG 2-0. We have seen some flaws in JDG. Missing, being very hit or miss. Shun, very hit or miss. Monkey, going to stick around for the respawn of his Raptors. We look for the Krugs just after. See whether wants to go for a full clear again. Kara stepping on forwards. Foss Bomb down. Gets a couple autos out. Both the mid laners have gone for that early reset. Tyr in for the Corki. Scout, Blasting Wand. Suggests we'll be getting the rower build again, which has been pretty much everywhere we care to look. Arla eating some damage from this Rumble. It's been one of the issues for a long time, as it feels like there is just nothing that can be done against Rumble in lane. Gwen was something of an answer, and Gwen might be just used against you as well. If you can't deal with one in lane, how about both? Flashing away, and an E snip snip secures a kill over for this Gwen. Nice gank. Arla very swiftly punished, cannot escape. Nice dive in from WE early on. I've been on a pretty upward trajectory to make it all the way here to Ascension. Shun will trade out for a dragon. Karis though, gonna come on over. Spots this out. Don't think there's going to be too much more here. Can they look for a fight on the way out, though? Debating, looking for something a little more here. Missing, eats a big chunk. Foss Bomb lands as well. So JDG will have to reset off this on the bot side. May drop a wave or so here, depending on how much Taeyun can do. Karis, though, for going over to make that trade. Drop a few minions and reset himself. Oh, bit of an engage happening onto Cube. That's what I get for needing to respond to a message. Missing, flashes on forward, gets a trample stone into the vault. Breaker means this Rumble will likely die, but here comes the rest of the squad. Flash on forward for the Dread side. Now Missing's in danger. Can they look for anything more? Here comes Scout, ulting up the river. Flash for the Q into the cease and desist. Slicing Maelstrom after brings down the Gwen. Wonderful pickup. And they make it 2 for 2 in the end as Shun was traded. Kara's managed to get a big old Foss Bomb down. Even trade topside, but that's still the feats of strength in terms of that mark of martial mastery. So, they get the initial pick, and then JDG say, we can turn this, Shun's coming on up. Ult forwards, flash for the Q, into the cease and desist. The damage looks great, but then this Foss Bomb angle after just enough with the Gatling gun to bring Shun down as well. Still ends up being a 2 for 2, which is nice enough, and it's not the clean pick that WE were hoping for. However, JDG do at least strike back. Monkey gets a hold of the grubs, and we're going to skip across the wall to finish clearing up. Picks up the rev up from probably Crux, and then reset to head towards bot lane would be my assumption. Vampire clearing up some wards. I'll be with you guys again in a second. I just had a quick message to respond to, and sometimes that happens in the background, especially when you're solo casting. Can't get someone to take over for you for a second. The game as it stands, pretty even. W with a solid early gold lead, and Monkey in a pretty good spot on this Gwen. Dropped a camp or so to make some of these plays happen, but right now, they're in a decent spot. Grubs for Dragon Trade, but JDG still in touching distance, still pretty scary. You've got a stack on that Dark Seal already, so Ari kind of gotten involved in the game, and that's good news. Karis, though, with 2 kills of his own, and is keeping up pretty well. And that is good news here. As kind of expected for the jungle as well, you do tend to rush Nashes on the Gwen in the jungle. Help with your clear. Not as as you don't require things like the Riftmaker. Don't require things like the Riftmaker, that's the way to phrase that. That's right, as much as you do in lane. Get enough healing off jungle camps to be okay with that. Pays, eats some damage, turnaround comes on through. Sus, says Grumpy Sarah. Bit of that. Dragon's up. Started by Monkey. Let's break that trade a little bit. Vi over the wall. Going to be chased away by Monkey as Vampire now in a spot of bottom edges. The bullet time comes on through, but the Hallowed Mist denies most of it. Alongside that Unbreakable Will. Vampire now has that timeout though. And what like a good deny of the bullet time doesn't get them out to safety. And missing holds his nerve. Of course, it's a depth charge. Vampire thought was the Alistair for a second there. Oops, but then will die. Looked nice for a second or two. But there isn't enough follow-up. There isn't enough safety. Jin and Corki pinned under their turrets. There's no way to keep that Gwen and Nautilus alive. So they see the play on in here, and Monkey gets a decent combo with the Hallowed Mist, gets the exhaust comes on down, but the turnaround CC is way too much. That's a really good job from Missing to hold that Pulverize until after the Hallowed Mist comes down. Means Monkey just doesn't get enough chance to do that much there. The gold lead swings back around in Shun's favor, now 2-1 and 2. Feeling pretty happy on this 5. Why didn't they take the Drake at all? Reset timings this early in the game would have been a bit tricky. Because by the time they'd killed people, respawns would have come on through and they'd be caught midway through the Drake and the waves weren't in a fantastic position, I don't think. Would be my assumption. Basically gone, look, we're not actually set up for this particular... We got the kills, but turning that into the dragon on the time as we have, we just get... They just respawn and run at us in the pit and we die. Which would have been bad. Especially because you just burned a fair amount to make that happen. No bullet time, no cease and desist. Bit tricky. Especially with curtain call from Taeyun. He just walks over, presses R, and you go, oh god, I'm at half HP. And actually, I lied, they took the dragon, didn't they? Just took them a while. Oh, why did they start Victor? Yeah, actually, no, that's just a good question. They were shoved in. It was a bad time. I don't know why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm speaking lies on the internet. So, yeah, basically, they shouldn't have, is the honest answer. They tried to cheat it because the Gwen can rush it. And didn't defend it well enough. Gonna head over towards the grubs. Flash on in for the Q, into the cease and desist. Missing, doing a lot of work. The bullet time is phenomenal. Scout looking for an angle. Teleport now coming on in. Cube is around. Vampire in threat, though, goes down. The equalizer onto Ale is solid enough. Jun flashing away. Managed to get one kill, but nothing more. Scout flashing for the charm! Monkey is down. Valkyrie away. Tries to keep Karis safe. They will lose Shun. Another knock up onto Cube. He's doing a fair amount of work and flashed away himself. Curtain's now called. Pay's going to look for that angle. Missing Kurt. We're going to be hyped with the charm, though, is Taeyun prevents the fourth shot follow-up. Shun down for 2 kills in trade, and basically every summoner under the sun blown for the result of that play. You've got a ghost coming up on Monkey, and that's about it. Don't quite get to turn that into much. The grubs end up being traded. A grub stolen. So look at this. The charm goes wide to begin with, and then they say, okay, we can potentially jump on this. And they try to do some damage to Missing, who just backs away. Flash, headbutt, hold into this bullet time is fantastic. Monkey, though, with the Hallow Mist again, means that bullet time doesn't do as much damage to them as you might think. Then they throw it around with the needlework, and you're thinking, okay, with this teleport, we can play this. Lost the Nautilus, but that's not the end of the world. Get a couple flashes, and then basically the rest of JDG start to threaten. The flash from Scout means that they can't extract from the river. Karis is jumped on with the cease and desist. The Valkyrie gets him out to safety, but only for a second or two. And so basically Shun trades his life for Karis' flash and the death in the end. Burns a lot more summoners besides. Largely, I think, an okay play for JDG. 2 for 1, plus a stolen grub, plus a load of summoners burn, and Monkey now under threat in their own jungle. Does not get to use the Hallowed Mist. 4th death of the game. The Gwongle not looking fantastic right now. JDG all up in Gwen's business. Random, but a memory just popped up on my phone that 6 years ago I got accepted into a Peace Corps and placed in North Macedonia. Wow. Then I didn't end up going, but when stuck there when COVID started. That might have been a very different state of affairs, wouldn't it? What a life you could have led. Hey, the Macedonian national anthem is the bomb. It's pretty good, to be fair. Almost got stuck in Iceland when COVID kicked off. I'd have been in London. It wasn't the end of the world. Are they going to try and trade out with that turret? Still WE picks up the feats of strength there, because they got the first turret and the first 3 kills. Shun's going to pick up this Herald, though. Nale will trade turrets, so in the end, a slight stronger feat not necessarily going to decide the game here, I don't think. Especially with Dragon up. Monkey's going to try and rush this again as a Gwen with an Ashes Tooth. You do shred through these objectives relatively fast, all things said and done. Overcome JDG, though. Oh, Monkey, I think you've tried to cheat some tempo there. Gets caught out over the wall. We'll try and steal away. Can't do. Dies to make this play happen. The Hallowed Mist comes on down. Shun goes, yeah, thank you for the leash. Soul point secured by WE. I get why Monkey's doing it. He wants to cheat that away and get the Ocean Soul point away from JDG. But can't quite do it in time and dies for it. JDG playing well. They are at the minute. The mid game has always been their strength. And this game seems to be no exception. Third turret down. Dragon secured. Herald used mid lane, I believe. Now, WE, what do you do? Not an easy state of affairs at all. Let's have a look at the replay. So, Monkey tries to sneak it away. They see the Dragon going down with the ward. Monkey can't quite get this in time. Scout ults over, into the headbutt, out of the pit. And they win the smite fight with the Q smite. And Monkey dies for nothing. Rough things, to be sure. Well then. Hour long fame pop. Game, man. This Gwen is kind of useless. It feels a little bit right now. Had a good early gank, and then after that has run into the graves where your jungle is invaded issue. You lose. You don't get to play the game very well. You have expensive items. You have expensive tastes as a champion. You need the gold. You need the farm. Stuck at an item. Stuck down a level. An easy place to be in. We'll try and build towards that Riftmaker, and that will help. Mostly chance want a fist fight. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this Jhin could be a bit clutch if the game gets late, because Jhin late game kind of outranges everyone. Gone for Ghost Blade into Rapid Fire Cannon. Try and pop someone squishy. I don't think we're ever going to get to that stage of late game. Ocean Soul in 2 minutes. 4k lead for JDG. Going to try and catch someone out here. Missing in danger, but we'll have the Unbreakable Will. Scout gets a charm onto Cube, means he can't get a decent equalizer off. Fighting over this red buff. Smite comes on down and secured by Monkey. Pei steps on forward, makes it rain a bush, and so they can clear out the ward. Karis looking to reset. Oh, Ala's going to find him. Throws down the Lightning Shuriken into the Slicing Maelstrom. Passive comes on through, and the W proc is pretty good. Hang on, Conqueror! He walked back into the Frost Bomb. Ala, that's unfortunate. Wow. Merc treads value. That's not even with a Muramana transformation. Walked into the Frost Bomb. Didn't get a good enough stun off. Oops. Ala. That's a very Ala moment. And actually, going to try and rush out to Khan here with a man advantage. Hang on, hang on, hang on. JDG feel like they're going to have to contest, but they're down the Kennen with no ult. Equalizer comes on through. It's good. Missing's in danger. Has to flash away. Monkey to get the needle worked out. Flash out from Shun. Vampire in danger as the bullet time shreds out most of the team. Scout looking for an angle. They will get one back. Atakan stolen. And that means the GAs are online. Oh, no. WE chose their moment. I don't blame them for looking. I really don't. They had the man advantage. They forced so many flashes, so many low health bars, but they can't win the Atakan fight. They saw their window, and JDG are cruel indeed. They snap it shut. It's a guillotine all along. WE headless. And down the Atakan. 20 seconds until Soul. They are dead before it. They've got Atakans to work with for JDG anyway. This game is over. Scout even picks up a Magi's. 10 stacks already. This Ahri is off to the races, so they say. Let's have a look again. Mind there's a man down. Missing, eats a lot of the damage, but does not die. Misses that last needlework. And the Monkey tries to go back and start at the Atakan. The exhaust comes down to make the bullet time less scary, but the damage is already done. Look at the health bars. Shun with the flash Q, and then wins the smite fight. 1400 HP is what that goes down on. And then the resets come on through for Scout. He's having a great Ari game. Oh, it nearly cost his team a lot there. That death could have been very problematic. WE try to capitalize and fail. Missing. FaZe will step onto that turret. Take it out. Baron spawns in 2 minutes. They're not even going to deal with that. They're just going to use the fact they have these GAs to really force turrets very hard. JDG have always been a team that plays around structures, plays around forcing the Monkey now on a flank angle. But to what end do you really want to play with these Atakan withdrawals up and available? Missing. Steps forward. Might die here, but is kind of happy to do so. But not before already potentially taking Vampire with him. They go into the backline with a cease and desist. Karras in danger, taken out. Cube flashing away, goes down as well. Misfortune picks it up. It is a triple to FaZe on that Misfortune. Great fortune for JDG. A disastrous one for WE. They need to go to some Shinto shrine somewhere and cleanse their spirits, clearly, because this was an inauspicious game indeed. Jing Dong Gaming will take game 1. A little bit of playing with their food at the end of the roll. Arlo will pick up the kill there onto Vampire. Charm. And on the fountain onto Tay. You won't be able to quite pick him off, but the damage is pretty damn. Those are some fun hovers. Did see a little bit of tank Vex top into Ambessa, courtesy of Mirwin, who, as Nymaera was saying, and I completely agree, is the closest thing to Darien we've had since Darien. Would have been fun to see, but clearly not the answer here. They'll go towards the Victor. Scaling, zone control, big AoE. Can look to punish some of the divers coming on in. Not necessarily a pure anti-dive comp, of course, but between the Crescent Guard and the Gravity Fields, you've got some tools there to make picking your moments important for WE. And you can guarantee they'll be coming forwards into you at the very least, which makes Hextech Rays and Chaos Storms, I suppose Arcane Storms these days with the rework, a lot more viable, a lot easier to hit. So, JDG, if you can get to 2 items plus on those 3 core carries, life is good. For WE, you want to hit that. Onto the riff we go. Let's listen to the crowd for a second or two. Ooh, the level 1 bush bait. Hello, hello, hello. Jace going from a different angle. Not going to see you on there. No one's baited up. Sets up for a good laning state, theoretically, for this Jace. Although with that lane control, get some damage down. Missing, mounts up. Good chunk then onto taking barriers early. Nice stuff. You'll often see a lot of role players start dismounted in the bush because the mount up CC is so nasty because it pulls you towards people as well. That move speed after can be really annoying. Double 2's in. FaZe hops forward immediately. Good work. Misses that 1 cube. Taeyun down to about half. Got a biscuit in inventory. On a great spot. Early ward from FaZe and missing in case that Neferi comes looking for a level 3 gank. Might be asked to do so. Likely to happen. Instead, we'll see a peek through mid. Shun's there as well. Oh, this could get interesting. Scout stepping forward. Seems to be a bit worried. Siphon Power traded with the autos. Monkey just off vision, looking to go on forwards. Pulls the pack. Eviscerates forward. Lands some Dark and Daggers. They'll get a fair amount of damage. That bleed is rough. Scout down to about 100 HP. Shun spotted clearing out his red buff. Monkey wants to come and fight. Knows that Scout is going to have to reset. And Shun now in a dangerous position. Heads towards his Krugs. And Monkey decides that's going to be too far, especially with the Jace shoved up. Can't fight any more than that. Will look to turn onto the blue buff. Play out from there. Cube shoved in. The price of that level 1 was Arla getting control of that bush and landing an early poke. It's gone towards the grass. We saw the Shy in this matchup yesterday. The days are blurring into one a little bit here, folks. Not going to lie to you all. Well, he went for the Electrocute into the Eclipse build. Very nasty early chunks, but struggled to stay alive as the game went on. Excuse me, sneezing. Again. Oh, Gesundheit. Oh, bless myself. Missing living up to his name. I was sneezing, so I don't know what he just did. I'm assuming he missed something. Pays. Q's a minion or two. Karis eating some nasty Hextech Rays. The thing is, Victor can bully people like Aurora a little bit because she's short enough range. You just keep doing that with the E. And ever since the changes, particularly with the Siphon Power Shield and where that's working, you just feel very, very potent with it. Vampire spots out a ward or two. Use that to clear out some wards, potentially. Decides against it. Got a lot of wards around that. Cube. Lacerates and Drakehound steps to get a chunk or two onto Arlo, who doesn't really care all that much. Lands some hypercharged autos onto Cube. Mid lane. Karis once again eating a Hextech rate. Not really able to trade out all that well. Cube's back through the minions. Passive proc comes on through. Across the veil, drops the minion to do so, but now Shun is here. And Karis, I think if there was a 3 Talon Strike, you could debate Flash E'ing there. They use 3 Talon Strike. W now on over, comes to level 6. Scout not quite there yet, has to flash away. Okay. Not bad. About a minion off level 6 is Scout. Monkey eviscerates towards safety. The rest of JDG looking to defend this mid lane, prevent easy shove in and a punish. Vampire. Eclipse shield down. Forced to flash. Oh, hang on. Vampire just letting Blast go towards the rest of JDG. Is going to have another Eclipse available. Shadow Strike comes on through. Not too much more to be found there. But that will force some resets and allow JDG to start up the grubs. No wave shoved up either. Taeyun will get that wave mostly in. Throws out a W. Looking for a steal. Can't quite find it. Might's in the way anyway, often making a difficult steal opportunity with your general skill shots. Monkey forced to eviscerate away as missing continues to be annoying. Taeyun and Pays trading out. They'll take 2 grubs and back off, say that's enough for us. We don't want to lose more of a wave. Oh, missed that one. -1. At least it's not a cannon. If you do exclamation mark cannon in the Twitch chat, see how many cannons Alex has missed. It's great. We love abusing Shield Bash Airy. Yeah, Shield Bash Airy is pretty silly. There you go. What do you mean he's never missed a cannon? Read the message, Mecha. Of course Alex has never missed a cannon. He's just saving them for another game. Shun, eats a Dark-in Dagger. Gonna go back on in, thinking about trading this one out, but there's the rest of the team coming on forward. If it's right now on forward and Shun in the spot or bother, but still gets the back away. Shock Blast empowered by that acceleration gate. So the skies is an option. Monkey now slowed down, eviscerates away. Left at 20% HP will heal off the Raptors at least. It might be on cooldown, Grumpy. I'm sorry. I don't actually know how Alex has set it up. Okay, Scout is probably dead. Nice combo from Monkey. No flash. Ult means nothing. And the Hound's Pursuit gets a kill. Nice work for W. First kill of the game. 8 minutes in. Been a relatively slow one. Monkey. Not doing all that much right now. Crash down away. Big chunk onto Taeyun. Oh man. Missed that Q. It would have been a nasty moment for Taeyun, but down to half HP. Shun takes up the dragon. Grub spawning in a minute and a half. First dragon of the game goes to JDG. It's a relatively late one, but it's done. Taeyun hanging around, can look to come on in with the killer instinct. Vampire left out to die. The Eclipse comes on down. Buys some time, missing. Out of range as Shun has to flash away as well. Taeyun now here looking for potential angle on in. Has got the ult, may want to burn it. Flashes away, barrier down as well. But then a flash shattering strike means that they get another one back. And missing doesn't take enough angle from those minions. Angle from those minions? Aggro probably was the term I was actually looking for. As he finds a good angle. Could have had a slightly longer sentence there, Sam. Either way, Taeyun dies, burning everything in his kit. Will at least pick up Shun, but it is still a 2-for-1. Hop across the veil, into a Between Worlds, into the Hound's Pursuit. And Scout can call forth an Arcane Storm, but I think a standard Umbrella would deal with that one. Alright, Shun is in danger. And just goes down. Nice pick off before the grubs could be taken. Pace looks to get something more, gets a decent chunk onto Karis, but that's only half of his HP bar. Monkey now on those grubs with the jungle dead. Shun caught out and about there. The Eclipse completed for Monkey, and down goes that Shin's out. Bot side though, Scout's going to take that first turret. Which is a fairly decent win, I think, all things said and done. JDG happy enough to trade that additional kill there. Might look well come and fight for at least the last grub here. Over comes Arla as well. Monkey may need to back away from this one. Shattering strike just wide as Monkey flashes. To the skies though goes Arla. Looking to push Karis back and around. Hands a shock blast just shy of Karis' final location after a quick jaunt across the wall of his Between Worlds. Plays is too good, man. He's having a good time on this Ezreal. He is up, what, 25 odd CS, 30 CS? That is a rough place to be. That's poor old Taeyun. Again, the Kai'Sa will eventually be good into the Ezreal. As long as you can survive the lane. So far, it's been pretty rough. Fights occurring once again in the river. Missing, crashes down, buys some time, but in comes Kai'Sa. Pays, survives, but missing does not. WE really playing hard for this river. Dropping a lot of waves to make it happen, though. And despite the kills, JDG still up. 1,000 gold here. Part of that. So they didn't quite cast that first turret, but they are just farming so much better. WE making plays, but it's at an opportunity cost. Unless these opportunities turn into meaningful leads, could get tricky yet. Get themselves the grubs, took them 2 attempts. JG gave over 2 kills in the grand scheme of things. Nefarious 2-0, you're absolutely right, and that's been scary already, but saw Nefari got, what was it, 14-0, something like that, still lose earlier today, poor old Nio. Tried real hard, couldn't quite make it happen. Cube thundering blowed out of his Drakehound step. Not quite my tempo. Should be able to claim this turret here. Hypercharger available. Wants to get that demolished proc. Does so. Monkey's around. Won't look to go all in on that one. First turret secured by JDG. Scout now topside. Siphons the power. Runs at that Aurora. About 20 CS there as well. These solo lanes are so far ahead. Look at Arla. We're talking about the mid and bot. Arla's up 40. The raw laning strength here is doing WE in somewhat. They'll come and fight over here. Landing that Wind Becomes Lightning. Vampire's going to look for an angle. Gets himself in trouble doing so. Red buff was secured by Monkey. So the buff secured. The health bar's a little depleted here. Scout still shoving topside. Still threatening Karis. He has to go across the veil again and look for a reset. Doesn't have a teleport. So that plate. Well, turret topside is going to take a bit of a beating as Arla just returns to this lane. He's got a black cleaver complete. He's up 1,400 gold. With no kill involvement at all. Just off plates. Just off that turret. Just off the CS. That is a nasty place to be in pre-turret plates falling. Won't quite claim that third turret topside. Sorry, third plate topside on that turret. To correct the sentence. Scout comes back out. Row it in hand. Already stacking for a while. Got himself some Mercury treads on top of that all. Sure. Neferi, 700 gold ahead. That's a good news story. Everywhere else, just look at how fed Arla and Payza. Alright, hang on. Let's do a fight on forwards. Public Execution comes on down and goodbye. Karis deletes missing. WE continuing to make the more successful proactive plays for all the JDG are farming well. These death ball plays are working. The problem is they're not turning into all that much yet. That might get them a dragon, but it loses them another turret. There's only so many times you can make these plays before JDG start becoming very, very scary gold-wise. At least you get the dragon, but it's only first dragon. Alright. Scout does a bit of that there, chunking. Arla is so strong right now. He's always been a J specialist, but that is not getting any easier anytime soon. Over towards the Herald we go. WE been getting the better of a lot of these objective fights of late, but I think JDG might be wanting to turn up and play for the first time in a while. Those shock blasts hurt, don't they? Oh my days, Arla. Land a few more of those and this might be an interesting one. Herald likely going to be secured out by Monkey. Is JDG trying to keep them out of the mid lane by the looks of it. Want to play for this turret. They're TPing in. Arla jumped on. Flashes away from the public execution. The rest of the team goes looking. Solar Flare just shy. Getting a slow onto Arla, who's going to get jumped on. Will likely go down, but doesn't quite take Monkey with him. They burn everything to get it happening. They will kill Arla. Great news. However, they lose the mid-tier 1 for it. They get the Herald. But the map continues to be played wider by JDG. Can they catch someone else on the retreat? Vampire, split off from the team, has no solar flare, has no flash, and igniting a dream. As he has been jumped on JDG saying, yeah, we can play this. True shot, barrage, comes across, back to the backside, Monkey will immune it with that call of the pack. Into the between worlds we go, and WE begin to respond. Pays now in danger, nowhere to go. Finally, Shun turns up, but where was he this entire time? Trying to fight off with Monkey, I would guess, get some Dark and Daggers down, chasing onto Scout, who is now bleeding out. Will siphon power one of the dogs. Shun in danger, gets slowed down. Looks for the wind becomes lightning, could look to audacious charge forwards. Won't have that cooldown, and the healing off the Eclipse and the Dark and Daggers is enough. JDG losing out on that fight in the long run, looking to punish after the reset. This is that fight. Karis gets to turn up and go absolutely mental there. Tane still had ult, so Pace gets leveled. And JDG, the laning's been good, but these team fights have been tough. We said, look, the target access is solid. And oh my days, Neferi's gone Profane Hydra. Does not want to play long fights. No Black Cleavers, no Shojins. Wants that first rotation to delete someone. And in fairness, there's no one really who's going to be able to deal with that, I don't think. I wonder whether Monkey might have been very astute with that build. Eclipse enough dueling power by itself. Dragon spawning in a minute. Public execution goes wide. Arcane shift out from Pace. 25 seconds on the dragon. Second dragon for either team. Gold lead kind of non-existent now for JDG. Man, a few of those fights have gone really wrong, haven't they? We need to head WE. Okay, take these objectives and turn them into something. They have now. There's the turret down finally for WE. That'll help bring back some of that standing gold. Still no damage really on that top or mid turret, but they want to try and look to come on in to this river. Set up for a second dragon. In goes Monkey onto Scout. Stays alive for a second or two. Looking to try and bring down the Victor and do so. That allows a reset on that call of the pack if they want to. Hound the shooter, sorry, JDG caught in the middle of everyone. All the while, Alice solos out the Kai'Sa. You lost your jungle, you've lost your mid. That will be Dragon over for WE, but Alice somehow pouncing on Taeyun. Might get a tier 2 off this. Will do. Ramana transformation is a scary beast for Jace. Dragon secured by WE, who are playing out a much, much better game in game 1. JDG, we said, look, sometimes the playbook don't work. They aren't very adaptive. They have been punished looking for some of these players, but especially when they're not the ones on the front foot. Scout jumped on here by Monkey, who just says we're going. Hound's Pursuit popped into the Solar Flare. Can't quite get the kill initially, but the damage is huge. Then Ala sees Taeyun walking up. He just jumps on him. To the skies. Auto. Thundering blow. To the skies again. Back into hammer form, or back into cannon form to get a shock blast down. Maybe it should have stayed a passive run. I see you, Polymundos. That's very funny. JDG still with a win con here. They are up a fair amount of golds. Taking a lot of these turrets. This Jace is very, 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 very strong. But we are saying that JDG are struggling to deny the divers from WE from killing their first target. This Neferi build is designed to do just that. It's not an extended damage build. Profane Hydra is all about that up front first. You kill someone or you die doing. You're not squishy with this build. Not even 2000 HP. However, should you hit Pace, hit Scout, hell, even hit Arla to a certain extent, do a lot of work. Looking to collapse here on Arla. Karis potentially in danger. We'll go between worlds. Arla, though, just jumps to the sky, says if we can trade that. Monkey and Shun trading on the other side. Wind becomes lightning for a second or two, but the Dark and Daggers landing make this tricky. Arla, though, able to clear the wave with an accelerated shock blast. Shocking, says Jace. WE are in a bit of a weird spot now. Close enough in gold to make this playable. But they don't really have much in the way of map control. Are they trading Atakan here for turrets? Well, cool. It's the perma buff. Of course, there's not actually that many objectives yet for JDG. So it's not being buffed out that much. And they know it's happening. They're saying, look, we really just want to get some gold on the map. And try and get the mid-tier 1. If they can get 3 turrets for Atakan, probably worth it for WE. Swing themselves into a gold lead for the first time this game. Can't get the mid-tier 1. That kind of sucks. Do get the gold lead, though. Those blood petals. Nice for JDG to help level people up again. Arlet is still very, very strong here. Got a Serpent's Fang to deal with some of the shielding. Lockets and Eclipses, oh my, and a Repudiation to deal with as well. 9 stacks on the Dark Seal as well for Karis on this Aurora. Quietly having a much better game after that early game was pretty unfun. Pays, though. Also in a pretty scary position. At least Kaiser's gotten to 2 items. The Wild Arrows will be fully stacked. The Infinity Edge also built up, so crit is certainly not lying. I'm trying to think what the last item is, or the third item is. Lord Dominic's, perhaps. Not really into all that much armor stacking, though, is my only thinking. Phantom Dancer, Hurricane. Don't think Rapid Fire Cannon. Good Collector. A little bit late in the day. Normally want that first or second item. Immortal Shield Bow, I suppose, if you want the shield on shields. 33 seconds until Hextech Dragon. The sole point for the side of WE. JG, you've got the Scuttle Crab Shrine at least, but that's about it. Or actually, I see. Made that emote, come on in. Neferi's pack get in the way of Ezreal Qs. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Hang on, Vampire. Jumped on. Karis here, looking to potentially go between worlds. Vampire tanky enough right now with the Aftershock and the Eclipse to be alright. Didn't pop the locket. Oh, welcome back. Got Soul Point. Quick wave for the camera, mate.
I'll get back
into it. There we go. Fight happens. Vampire goes deep. WE in a pretty interesting position at this point. Shun trying to get some damage on the backside of the back. As the execution comes on in. The problem is Monkey and Taeyun can keep on diving. They'll finally bring down the Kaiser. But watch Pays. Watch what he can do. Monkey still alive. The Profane Hydra build on this Neferi finally brought low. But Karis and Cube still break the back of that fight.
Monkey, continually so important for Team WE. 7-1-7, the full assassin Neferi, pulling JDG apart at the seams. I was worried actually that he wouldn't get the reset off. I thought that his first ultimate was interrupted and he'd get locked down, but that's the problem with Neferi. So hard to actually lock that damn dog down for a kill.
And for a quick heads up on how the game went, we saw JDG play the map wide, play for lane advantages. WE in these grouped up death balls have been constantly picking JDG apart.
That Vampire instantly one-shot, and Karis actually doesn't get that much damage done. I thought that would be the end of it. Much like many of WE's better moments, it really is just on Monkey picking up the pieces. It is astounding to me that a team that has struggled as much as Team WE had managed to get away with this. Gets 2, 3 Triumph procs, does die at the end, but takes so long to die it doesn't matter.
Karis at this point, now with a fully stacked Medjai's, that one he got exhausted in, but that means Neferi's not exhausted, Kaiser's not exhausted, and Bess is not exhausted, the CC's not fantastic for WE, the target axis sure as hell is. Solar Flare lands, Arlet forced to back away, Vampire down to half HP, they're going to go in Henge, Shun trying to find an angle, this would still be Soul Point for WE if they can secure it. It is taken by Shun though, which evens up the Dragon count, public execution into the backside from Q, the turnaround with that call of the pack, and the Hound's pursuit. Monkey will finally fall as Scout picks that one up, aside from power, and Karis goes down, and WE the second round isn't good enough.
Once again, Vampire evaporated at the start of the fight, and it has to be kind of like a brawling outplay kind of situation from Monkey, who this time can't quite make the magic happen. Karis, only 2 stacks on the Magi's now. He has been shut down. JDG, after taking the Dragon with so many kills, they will move straight towards the Baron, and there will be no contest.
None at all. It's been the first one fight, really, from JDG this whole game. They found picks individually. Arla up an obscene amount of CS in that early game. But the early lane leads, the early turret leads were looking problematic. Baron will help with that a great deal.
Go back into that replay. Once again, you know, Vampire trying to really just start off the fight well and close down the target. He goes too far. Doesn't actually end up working things out for a big dive this time. No one can combo onto it. Shun holds the front line still. And, you know, it is left to just Monkey trying to get an outplay on the backside. He has nothing left at that point. I think Cube, I wonder if he should have just left well alone there. Does get the 1 kill, sure. You lose so much after that point. I wonder whether they should just call it quits once the initial engage failed.
Paze and Scout get a lot of damage down onto Monkey, who doesn't have W up. And with this build, there is no Shojin, there's no Black Cleaver. You are very, very squishy. Your upfront burst, unreal. Your healing once you kill someone, pretty good. Until that point, you are still just about 2,000 HP, if that.
You see JDG starting to crush the map now. This is a problem. Arla does a lot of damage. You can understand why the Neferi's gone for this build, and you can see the value that it's gotten, but there are too many people you need to kill now. This Victor, very hard to get through. This is one of the games where the Rod of Ages does make a difference with the Zhonyas. You know, Scout is still doing respectable damage, but he's not nearly as easy to be dove onto by Cube and Monkey, and of course Ezreal, notoriously slippery. And once you get that Shojin, which of course is in now, your E is basically up every time you hit 2 Qs. If you E to escape the first time, turn around for a couple of Qs, you can do it again. It's very hard to shut down the Ezreal if you miss even 1 skill shot onto him and allow him to jump again.
Of course, you have still got Taeyun on this Kai'Sa. And yes, the Neferi may be manageable, but can you do that plus the Amasa, plus the Aurora, who now unfortunately had to sell her Medjais, but still in an okay spot, and then the 3-item Kai'Sa. You have got tools, especially if JDG are too focused on killing the first target. We have seen the second and third ingresses into the backline. Got a lot of value for WE as this game's gone on.
Yeah, I think you would have really liked to see the AP Kai'Sa at this point in the game, though, with this kind of team.
Yeah.
Double AD assassins on your team. The Kai'Sa going towards the crit build, definitely. Oh, hang on, Vampires has lost all of his HP. He's had a difficult, well, since I've been watching. Maybe the early game was better.
It was better for him, yeah.
Better for him. His last couple of fights haven't really delivered, so I only get to see the bad parts of Vampire. I'm so sorry to...
Maybe you're the problem.
Maybe I am the problem. There are, yeah, that can occasionally happen. Turret's starting to be felled now. The range from JDG really coming online. If you had the poke Kai'Sa, maybe you could fight back a bit against this. You have no such tools here.
Very difficult. It's all in or bust with this comp, and they're thinking about doing just that as Vampire steps on what is only really onto missing, and now he's caught forwards, has to flash away, and Pace says, no you don't, I Arcane Shift and Q you. Eat my Mystic Shot, Tane you, hit with another! The Arcane Shift forwards will be barriered as they turn around now with the Hound's Pursuit eviscerating forwards, but again, there is no HP, and JDG were pushed this game by WE, but a failed fight for Soul Point into a Baron, and JDG's work done to the map earlier comes and pays them back with dividends in the form of a Nexus.
The sharpshooter Pays really making his impact here in the late game. JDG will move to 2-0. Wouldn't necessarily call it clean, but I would call it done.